And that's why I mentioned all those names. So for me, I came to be involved with like-minded people and serve the community. But I got so much more out of that. I'll be honest with you, I was happy with the network too. I met Markland, found out he was a realtor. Markland sold me my first house in, not my first house, but my first house in Birmingham. And I was happy about that. There's a couple people that's not in here no more, but I got a financial advisor in Brian Kennedy. Brian Kennedy is a former member. He lives in North Carolina now. So, you know, you got bankers and all types of people that's in here. That network is good. And I'll tell you this story real brief. I had lost my job at 107, and I know all of us have been through some type of thing. And I'm going to tell you the story because the network is really important. So I emailed and called all my friends. I called Martha Dunn. I called Melvin Tate. I called Eric Guster. I called Ed Fields, all these folks. And I was like, look, I'm out of work. I'm going to start looking. Will you be a referral? Without a doubt, they all say, yeah, we'll be a referral, a recommendation for you. I actually started getting interviews on my referrals. I would go to interviews and people would say, oh, you know Eric Guster? Oh, you know LaDon Jones? Oh, you know. Some people would say, oh, you know what, I called you in because you had some great referrals. You know, I didn't wait to send my referrals. I was like, look, you know, here's my resume, here's what I can do, and here's the people I know I work with. You know what I'm saying? So you got some good people in here, you know, it's got some good connections, and they got some names. I mean, I guarantee if you put Markland Sigler's name on your referral, it's on to you.
Hopefully
so,
it'll be good.
The network was important, and I think everybody talked about, I'm trying to rush so I can get y'all some answer questions, but I know they talked about the conference. My first conference
was DC in 2010. He was my roommate, as I recall.
I tell you what, Sean probably will never go to a conference two married dudes again.
They were so cute, standing there.
He was having so much fun. We couldn't participate in all that activity. But you know, we go to the conferences, and I'm like Martha and them. There's so many great folks doing so many great things across the country. And like she said, we all friends to this day.
Absolutely.
From California to New York to Florida. It's just like going to college. When you go to college, you meet people from everywhere and you stay friends forever and all that kind of stuff. It's the same thing. The network is important. And those are the same type of folks you can call too, because they know you're in the movement and they can give you referrals for jobs and all that kind of stuff as well. So that's kind of like my little spiel on everything.
Exactly.
So I hope y'all got questions and stuff for all of us.
Can I say one thing? When I was talking about the national movement and really pushing that, it's because it takes that for you to really understand what you are contributing to locally. I just wanted to say that because LaDon is absolutely right. I mean, we have to start here with our community, but that's what lets you really understand what's going on, and you don't skip a beat when you come back. You're like, oh no, let me do my part in Birmingham. And winning those awards, we were really proud, but not because our one little section here, Birmingham, won an award. To me, it meant that we were pulling our weight in the national movement and proving it, because that's what we were a part of. So we were pulling our weight. And you said something else. I said that the movement starts to dictate your life. It's what you said, like your friends, the people you hang around, everything. It starts to dictate your life, your professional life, everything.
Absolutely.
And you talked about conferences and the fact that you might not be able to afford them. I made some sacrifices to go to conferences.
I did too.
But also, those of you that work in corporate offices, you have to understand what you're a part of before you could do this. But you need to walk your behinds unapologetically into an office there at wherever you work and let them know they need to fund this movement. Because you are doing community service, you represent them, and they need to send you to this conference. And I know that sounds forward and crazy, but that's exactly what other people are doing. And I've done it. And they started to budget my conference. Just not because people, you throw them off. You throw them off when you go and you know you're standing for something that means something. I mean, it gives you confidence. And they're not ready to deal with it sometimes. So they go along with you. And you can rest assured that this is a good thing to go to them about. So don't be afraid to do that. For funding, for conferences, don't be afraid to do that.
And don't be afraid to get involved from a national standpoint, because Mark, if you don't mind me, didn't you run for Southern Region President.
I did run in that Chicago trip where I lost.
Marshall, he again, he got involved locally and was definitely a leader locally. But then he also took it to the next level and ran for Southern Region Vice President at the Chicago Conference or what have you. So, and then now we have Tony. She's a part of the national board as well. So, that's building the brand, building your network, but also being a part of the movement or what have you. So, I want to congratulate both of them for having the courage to do that or what have you. Because when they do things like that, they're representing Birmingham. And I don't know, Birmingham is the magic city. In my opinion, it's one of the best cities in the South, in my opinion, and what have you. So, so I want to congratulate those two for doing that. So I guess we can open up the fourth.
Tanika, have a question or?
Well, I'm just gonna start with something. Thank you guys for coming out. I had an opportunity to visit conference, and I'm real energized. I think I was energized when I came last year. I came to one meeting, I stroked the chick, and I've been going ever since. But I wanted to ask you, either one of you, to speak on, because this is something that we hear nationally, and each one of you has said the mission and the movement. So for those who don't understand what the mission and what the movement is, can you give some insight to that so they'll have a better understanding of what we're doing?
Good question.
Well, their equal opportunity is what the Urban League stands for. Like here in Birmingham, we worked on workforce development training, housing counseling, youth services. But the big picture, to me personally, is equal opportunity in healthcare, finances, everything. And when we go out into our communities, that's what we're pushing for, equal opportunity and empowering our people to, get up and get the things that are due to them. And it's just equal opportunity is the mission.
Yeah.
Because, that's all you need to remember. Because you want your communities to be served well and have every opportunity any other community has.
And as an extension of that, I would like to say, my personal opinion is about equal opportunity as well. And personally for me, I think all of us within this room, there has been someone in your corner that may have touched you on your shoulders, grabbed you by your hands, and served as a mentor and giving you opportunity. There are certain people, there's different communities and people within the community that don't have that type of exposure. So for me, in order to help out with equal opportunity, for me, the movement and being a part of the Birmingham Urban League is for me to be that person that can help back and extend my own to help that next person out of the situation that they're in. So I think we're all in this room, we're all blessed to be in this room. So I think it's up to us to serve as a blessing to someone else.
So yeah, the Urban League pretty much changed my life as a whole. You remember when I came in,
Sure.
You were on your way out. Our friend David Hedges was on board, and he invited a bunch of people from PNC to come. Of course, I was the only one that stayed because the rest of them didn't look like us. But after I joined, YouTube, William, I bugged Sean the next day, look, man, I need to sign up. You need to tell me how to do it on this website because I can't figure it out. He was like, I got you. It was just like a brotherhood, and then Martha, everywhere I went, if I knew Martha, I could get in. I didn't even
Now that is true.
But when I went to conference that year in New Orleans, Mark Morreale is mayor of that city, and that's his city. You talking about an experience. We had a white party in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And then the after party at the House of Blues. That's just the fun stuff, but you talking about McDonald's there giving franchising courses. You talking about corporations like Johnson & Johnson recruiting people to be on their workforce. And they still call me up to the stage trying to get me to move over here. But they just ain't talking no good numbers. But, that's the type of opportunities that you get when you go to the conference. When I go to New York, of course I'm from there, but I now have friends in the Long Island Urban League, the New York Urban League. When I went to Houston, I didn't have to pay for nothing. When I landed, they was like, we got you. They took me around and they treated me like family. When I went to Tennessee, my friends from Tennessee took care of me. When I go to California, all I gotta do is post on the Facebook group in California and they got me. So it is bigger than just the city. From the connections that I made to the person that I've become, I can say that being in this building started that for?
And just to expound on the conference a little bit more, when you go to these conferences, they do have breakout sessions that are about empowerment and stuff like that, so it's educational. Every conference has a huge job fair. Every conference has a huge job fair.
President Obama addressed us.
Yeah.
Like
We
3 years in a row.
3 times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
I got a question. If you, one of y'all can kind of elaborate, we keep talking about the award. What's the criteria for the award? What are some of the, and Tony, you may, since she's on the national level, I wish you was up there too, but, not saying you all, but from a criteria, what is some of the information compiled in those award packages or data submissions, what it's called, to actually be recognized on the national level?
Well, disclaimer for all of you who may be watching, I was not on the awards committee.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm a little bit feisty. But basically, there are different awards. You can get an award for your service to your affiliate. That's your volunteer hours that you commit to your affiliate. If the affiliate needs whatever done, if they need a help with the job fair, you can bring your company in. That's service to your affiliate. When you serve on committees, when you do community service, when you brand the Urban League, you are doing service to your affiliate. Also, some of the things that we saw, chapters bringing in huge amounts of money through, either their work, sponsorships, to their affiliate. It's so important that we make sure that we keep the affiliate solvent, that they can work and do the work they need to do in the community. There's jobs, enhancement that we do. We do training for that. We do resume writing. We do home ownership. Those things cost money. We need to get the people in there. We need to market that. So we need to make sure that this building is open. So those are the things that young professionals are doing for their affiliates, to make sure that the services in the communities are there. Other things that we touched on during our national awards are National Day of Service. So maybe you have a small chapter, you can't raise, $25,000 for your affiliate, but you can get out there and beat the streets. You can be the face of the Urban League, and you can let them know our mission. So chapters got awards for their ability to do that. Also for National Day of Empowerment, supporting entrepreneurship in the Black community. That's going to be our theme for this year as well. It was our theme last year. Devoting yourself to those initiatives that come down from national and your local communities and doing them and executing them well is what gets you recognized. Having everybody involved, getting the community involved, partnering with other organizations like Martha's organization or with banks and other entities will get you recognized in that way. So there's a lot of ways to do it. You can get individual awards if you're a member who's outstanding and you do outstanding work for your affiliate and your chapter. You can get awarded for that. Certainly presidents get awarded. So there's a lot of avenues for recognition, though it's not all about that. We really go to share ideas and how we can better improve our communities and just make a greater impact in the movement.
I just wanted to remind you all, I don't know what the process is now, but there's an opportunity for members of different chapters to be a part of the awards committee. And of course, you can't dictate who, your chapter winning that way, but what you can do is just be well versed on what it takes and how certain chapters won certain awards. Mark and I infiltrated that.
Yeah, leave me off of that.
2008 or so.
Well, that was my plan.
Yeah, so make sure that you're paying attention when they're calling for these volunteers before the conferences, so that you're represented.
And we didn't win every time we submitted. Mark, how many times we submitted before we won? 'Cause
3.
there was some disappointments.
3,
Yeah.
2007, 8, 9. But we won when it counted in 10.
There was some disappointments, but the reaction was priceless when we did. So he wasn't the president, but you would not have thought he was. So he took the spotlight from Mark or what have you. But
Absolutely.
We let him have it.
what I want to say to piggyback on and add on to what everyone's talking about the awards, I think if you just serve, everything else it would take care of itself.
Yes.
So if you just passionately, wholeheartedly just serve, it would take care of itself. Trust me.
And if any African American leader tells us to tell our story, and you know, you have Mark taking care of social media, but you guys have to tell the story also. You know, brag about the work that you're doing. When we were in leadership, let me tell you, organizations came to us to partner. We had a lineup, you know, as far as volunteer commitments, or, you know, for-profit organizations wanting to partner with the Urban League. If they needed something from this demographic, they knew where to go get that. And you have to let them see you so that that happens and you dictate what you be a part of. You know, we told people no. And I mean, people had to come ask us. People were wanting to meet with us. The Birmingham YPs, NSBE, all in white organizations, black organizations. These people come because they're looking for this demographic and they know where the best of this demographic is. And they know that it's
a
service.
little bit. Being a part of this organization will get you involved in other organizations as well. The mayor started an urban YP initiative not too long after he got into office.
Birmingham United.
Yeah, and he invited a few members of the Urban League.
Like 5.
To be a part of that group. Ed Fields has started a program before, the Urban Leadership Initiative, and we all a lot of people participated in that. Leadership UAB, a lot of us have graduated from that program, participated in that program. So being a part of this to get you involved in some other programs too.
Just be seen so they can come looking for you.
Let me ask y'all a question, because I used to kind of preach this when we were here, and like she said, tell your story. Because I was in the media, I used to always tell them, y'all have something, we need to put a press release, come on, public service announcement on a radio station, TV station to do interviews and all that stuff. Are y'all putting out press releases for the events y'all have, or y'all just doing social media and your e-blast?
We've done what, 2 through the Birmingham time.
Okay.
Is what we've done, 2 or 3 maybe. I know we did YP weekend. Of course, the event we got coming up, which that's something we may want to talk to you with Taste of Soul, coming up in October that we're going to do. So we hadn't really put it out, but so basically you all get the first dibs. So we are going to lead as Taste of Soul event. For those who remember last year, we did it in September, I think, round by Dirty Action. So this year, we partnered with the Ricky Smiley Morning Show as well as the Tom Joyner Morning Show. We will actually block off all of Uptown on that, I think, Wednesday or Thursday.
That's Thursday and Friday.
The
Thursday.
26th to the 28th.
So it's going to be a Thursday and Friday event. So we're trying to do some big things, but like they mentioned, it takes all of us. And I know that's just from a social, but it's not just going to be a party. We will have some breakout sessions throughout that day. Yeah, so we're going to do a job fair expo. So it's not just a party event. It will be some things coming along. So we'll definitely probably be pulling on your coattail for that too.
Yeah, but y'all should, when y'all doing stuff, even if it's community service, all that stuff, send out press releases. I'll say troll the media. I also had a job as the public relations person for the Birmingham City Council at one point in time, and you should troll the media. Tag them on social media when you're doing events and stuff like that. Get their email addresses and send them emails and let them know. They ain't gonna pick up every story, but when you get a chance to get your story told and picked up and all that kind of stuff, it's just good for the movement, man. It really is.
And Miracle, is it? Yeah. I mean, that list, I was like, y'all better go. I mean, if there's someone dedicated on your executive committee to just make sure they're pushing it out, that's quite a list. And people should know that that's going on.
Any other,
One more question. So when you were coming out and then William came in, we were like, wait, but we were on fire. From the outside looking in, now that you kind of took a step back and you're on the actual affiliate board, what are some things we can improve on to get more people engaged?
All right. So one, I'm no longer on the affiliate.
Okay, my bad.
So I've rolled off that a couple of years ago. But I did serve, so you're absolutely right. What have you. I think, my perception is it's a lack of involvement. Like I said earlier, I've noticed the lack of involvement as far as participation from our members. It seems like our members have just basically stepped back, and unfortunately, we don't have a lot of members that's willing to step into leadership roles. And I've also noticed that when someone steps into a leadership role, they don't live out their commitment. So don't come through with that year's worth of commitment that they signed up for. So when you back out of a commitment, you know, it's almost having an organization to backtrack, because now the executive committee got to find someone to step into your shoes and try to pick up from where you left off or what have you. So that's been the biggest thing that I've seen as far as a lack of participation from the members. It's really just died off. But I don't know what the stem of it or the root of it or what have you, but I think that's the one place that we can definitely improve on.
So how do we fix that? That's my question.
Communication.
I'm gonna tell you something too. Remember Dunn, you know, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. People think just because we volunteer, people can't be terminated.
Yeah.
Volunteers can be fired. If somebody not holding their part, you might as well get them on out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just say, look, you're not doing your part. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just taking up space. So fire folks if they're not doing their job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because, you know, we need everybody. It's just like a real job. It's like a real team. You need everybody to do their part. Like I said, you know, you got your president, vice president, secretary, stuff. I mean, we wouldn't be nothing without the committee.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
He's
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely
You need
right.
those chairs and those co-chairs. So if somebody's not pulling their part, fire them.
And it's a brand. You know, you don't want people representing you that can care less. And that's what the national movement is just my best
Didn't we find somebody to get to?
way. Just talking about nationals, it's just the only way that I can impress upon you to learn about how big and how important the movement is. If you go, I think it comes together for you. And that's why, you know, I push it like I do. I just think that once you see that, it gets all up in you. It absolutely does. And people will start seeing the good work because you won't stop until you make it work.
And to piggyback off of what my good friend John Long just said, you know, different personalities can exist within the organization.
Yes, Mark and Mark.
And I was the more diplomatic person. John was the more just,
You gotta go.
Exactly. You know, John, we can't handle it that.
He did that for me too,
So,
as vice president. I could
absolutely.
sit there and be friendly, and John's like handling it.
But again, different personalities can exist, and you can still have success with the different personalities. Because again, the movement is larger than all of us. So, I hope that answered your question, Gilberto.
And I'll say this too, do a better job of inviting people outside of the
Yes.
movement, because a lot of times, and I got this when I was in it, even people I worked with, you know, African American stuff like that, they was like, oh, it's just for YPs. I was like, no, man, it's open to everybody. You know, you gotta be clear on your advertisement and your post and stuff. This is open to the public. We want all ages, all demographics. But sometimes people think if y'all having a fundraiser or if you had community kitchens volunteering, that only the YPs can be there. Let people, y'all gotta be clear about that everybody else can be involved. And once those people get involved, some of them be young professionals that can join, others to be, you know, older professionals that can donate money, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I work with churches. I'm just saying, young adults,
Yeah,
they
that's true.
inside these, churches.
And my last piece of advice is, you know, have your elevator speech ready. You know about the organization.
Yes.
Know about what the organization does. So if someone was to ask you, oh, so tell me about the Birmingham Urban League.
Yes.
What does the Birmingham Urban League do? If you don't know, if you can't just spit it off the top of your head, off the lips, then hey, you know, you're not really involved in the mission and engaged in what's going on. So have that elevator speech ready, because you never know. That person that's
never know who you're
asking,
gonna run to.
exactly, they could be asking for a reason.
I'm gonna tell the story, and Martha remember this. When Dante Wilson first came to be the president of BBVA, I get him wrong.
BB&T.
BB&T.
Yeah, that's it. But anyway, he was young, he was new, he was fresh. We were at an event, which one was it? The Casino Royale.
Yeah, Casino Royale.
And we saw him walking through, and me and Martha ran to him. Mr. Wilson, Dante, come here, man. He took a second. Make a long story short, we gave him our speech right there. Look, we got an awards gala coming up. We need some money. You the president. We know you can make this happen. What we need to do? And he was like, what are y'all doing? We told him all that kind of stuff. He said, yeah, I'm familiar with the Urban League. Here's my card. Call me and email me. And on a first-time event, you don't just get $10,000 from no company.
Right.
We're able to do that because we were able to give him that spiel at that event. You know, so don't be afraid when you see
And he
people.
was guest speaker
Yeah,
for
we
the
made
event.
him a guest speaker too, you know. But you got it,
But
you
we
know.
were ready.
We were ready, you know your stuff. And don't be afraid to pull people to the side, you know. No matter what they title it.
That's what we do for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any
No
other
fear.
questions?
I would just say, I joined back in 2010, and because Mark Lynn asked me to come, I didn't join right away. And like,
Hey, man, I was on
well,
fire back then, boy.
He was on fire. He's still on fire, but what I remember most is I was just here, maybe I had come to a couple of meetings, and I didn't really know anybody. I think Martha was the president then, and you know, I'm very introverted, so I would never like go up to Martha and say, hey, what's up, or whatever. So I was just sitting there, and then I think Bakara came to me after a meeting one day, and she was like, hey, we're having a gala. I think you need to be, you know, the logistics chair. I'm like, I'm not even a member right now, and I've never like planned anything. She's like, oh, I think you'd be great. Go ahead, you know, you can do it. I encourage leadership, future leadership of this organization. Grab somebody and get them involved. That's the best way to get, and now I'm here. I went to my first conference before I even became a member of this organization. I had a great time. I still hang out with those people. I met one of my great friends in life at that conference. So, I mean, you have to just, you know, get out there and encourage people to be a part. We are family. We should not feel like we can't push people. You know, push people past their comfort zones, because that was definitely past my comfort zone.
Now, it used to be our thing, though. We used to talk about the leadership meetings, like, if somebody new is in the audience, let's make sure we go and shake hands with them and talk to them before they leave. Not to sell them on the organization, just to let them know, we recognize you, appreciate you coming out, thank you, you know. So y'all need to implement that again, you know, if y'all not doing it.
Again, it dictates your life. We talked about what it makes you do as an individual and what it does for you personally as far as you caring about your community. But the leadership development, a lot of companies don't have every single thing that you need for leadership development. So sometimes you walk out into the civic world and you find it there. And I know I did. And you just have to take advantage of that. You know, like, go ahead and step into a position. If you're uncomfortable, but you know you got skills to help with something, just do it. You just step out there and do it. And I promise you, when I say dictate your life, that's another area. That is another area that it'll dictate for you, success in leadership, and what you do professionally.
Absolutely. And last thing, I know I said that was my last thing.
Man, you can talk as much as you want with
That's
Don
why I
Jones.
say last
There
thing.
you go. And don't be, you know, don't be
I got
afraid.
dinner to go to.
Yeah,
Man. Your wife used to be a member, John. She know what's up.
So, you know, don't be afraid to fellowship with each other outside of the organization, outside of, you know, meeting once a month, you know, outside of doing service events or what have you. You know, don't be afraid to fellowship with one another, because I can tell you how many countless times that we've all been to each other's houses, having
We
dinner,
had barbecues at the
exactly,
Poker night.
you know, so, you know, don't be afraid.
Women weren't invited to that.
I knew Martha was gonna say. I was waiting on that. That hate right there. Martha said, "Hate that."
Sometimes a great idea will come out of a fellowship outside of the organization or what have you, and then you'll continue to build on the relationships and building that bond that's going to continue to help the organization to move forward. So, you know, don't keep to yourself. Build these relationships. Become friends, because if you're gonna do the work together, you might as well be friends, right?
Might as well. Can I give an invitation? The Birmingham Change Fund is just casually having dinner at Rivet Up on the 30th of August. And what we're doing is just, you know, it's just an effort to support Black businesses. So we're gonna start having these socials, just dinner and drinks, Rivet Up, 5:30 on the 30th. I believe it's a Tuesday. Come on, Tuesday. Y'all come out, because I'm trying to get someone to come and speak to us about intentionally supporting Black businesses, not just going out every now and then, but giving some statistics, talking about the stigma that we've all heard, and just how important it is in our community. So if y'all could come out, we're inviting everyone. Rivet Up's not that big, so I can't wait to see a packed house. And you might see a little media there, because we want them to know this is the impact that we can make. So on the 30th, just fun, some ribs and some drinks, starting around 5:30, and you might learn something. Okay?
That sound like the old BCF bullet
5:30.
join ups.
And it's just, yes.
Go ahead, ask your question.
Might be at Platinum next month.
Oh, I would love to see that. You had a question?
And
So it's like a social, just.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
sorry.
It's just a social, a meet and greet, just an effort, you know, to visit and become familiar with the black businesses in town. I'm reaching out to a few people in town. I had a journalist, but his wife's having a baby, and he won't be able to come. So we'll have someone there just to give us a little guidance so that we can have this top of mind when we go out and patronize businesses.
I got a question. All right, my question is, because I was there, but I want to hear y'all perspective. So, what do you think was the biggest problem you had to overcome during your presidency? So, you know, I want to hear what you guys think it was going back.
Say it again, Mark.
The biggest problem you had to overcome, the biggest obstacle you had to come during your presidency of Bullock.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, what was the biggest, you know, if I can tackle this one thing, everything will go smoothly, or this is the thing that messed me up from accomplishing everything I wanted to accomplish during my time in charge?
How do I say this?
Tell John, he'll figure it out.
I'll make it sound good. He'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the biggest challenge that I had to overcome is because I am that diplomatic person. I try to work everything out from a communication standpoint, or what have you, and try to give everyone a chance to either be a part of, to lead and be a part of the mission. And I'll be honest with you, we had a couple people when I was a leader that they were not team players. You know, and it was all about themselves, or either causing some confusion or what have you. And unfortunately, I guess fortunately, at some point I had to address it. I think that was the toughest part for me as being president, because as I said earlier, it's not the easiest seat to be in, trust me. So it's already not the easiest seat to be in. Then when you have members that's complicating your process and just being negative for no reason, that was difficult for me, because it's totally different from my personality, and it was real difficult for me from a standpoint. I was having a hard time figuring out how to approach it and trying to, without running them off, because I wasn't about running them off, but I was trying to be more diplomatic. But John Long said, you can't.
He said they volunteering, we can't, they can fire volunteers.
So that's what, you know.
I think that's a good summation. I was there during that time period.
Yeah, sure.
That was a good summation of it. Martha, I was there for your time period too.
Mine is more tactical. I think what I wanted to leave when I left my presidency was a big, strong signature event that would, you know, continue to finance all that we wanted to do. And we tried a few things, and we were successful, but nothing stuck. You know what I mean? I remember we had throwback prom. I remember we had the gala, you know, that Dante spoke at. We tried a few things, but I just really wanted that. And, you know, with all the talent in this room, if you can continue to just go after that thought, what is something that just our demographic could certainly handle and would be a good fit for the Birmingham Urban League Young Professionals? And, you know, that would help to fund all this important work that you're doing and to assist the affiliate. Now, I know you have the Taste of Soul and you have these things going on, and perhaps you found your signature event. But that's something that, you know, you always want to leave just a way, you know, for the next group to make it.
John, you were in there between both of them.
It wasn't tough, you know. At the end of the day, it's like being on a team. You play your position. I knew I was the assistant, and I knew they needed. I needed to do my work, and you know, work with the committees and make sure that they could do their work. You know, so it wasn't tough for me. It was just making sure that, you know, people didn't get in their way and people did their job. You know, it wasn't hard at all.
Yeah, I would say back when I was there, was just trying to get people here. And then when I finally built the people here, Martha took over. Like, dang it, I got all these people here. I know.
But standing room only every meeting, and we made a point. It got on some people's nerves, but we introduced ourselves and we told where we worked every single month, because that was something that was really, really important to me.
Y'all still do that?
We stopped.
Because you never know who came around.
We just don't know.
Yeah, I was against that, as you recall, in that meeting.
But like I said, I bought a house from you. I mean, I wouldn't have known if you didn't introduce yourself as a realtor.
Yep.
BK didn't introduce himself as a financial advisor. Martha as a HR, expert. You know what I'm saying? LaDon as a VP of the bank. You need to know who these folks are. School teachers, for that matter, knowing what school they at. You might have kids that you might need to put in that school. It's important to know who's in the room because you just never know.
Yes. And transitioning, you talk about when you were looking for another job. I mean, that happens to people in this room. It'll happen, but you should have the comfort of going to, one of your colleagues in this organization, and you should know who to go to. So, I think it's important.
Any other questions? Well, let's give them a round of applause. There's some great information, and it's just a different perspective. I know you all come here monthly and listen to myself blab and talk about different things, but just kind of hear it from a different perspective. And if you notice, one thing I like, Martha gave it from one point of view, from a more strategic angle, and LaDon said, well, mine is a little different. But guess what? Both of them got to the same finish line. Both of them won awards. And they kind of spoke on the data submission and packaging. So, and Tony spoke on it. But a lot of that stuff in there, so we submitted this year, your service hours. How much did we donate to pass along to the affiliate? Our non-affiliate service hours, affiliate service hours. So to sit in a room in an auditorium style or grand ballroom, it was, with probably, 600-700 YPs and stand up and they, give out their credentials prior to awarding them, to hear an affiliate or YP chapter give their affiliate $55,000, 39,000 service hours. And I'm floored. I'm like, man, God, I mean, I think we turned in 700 service hours? I mean, just the work that they do. And that didn't come from 20% of the people. It's nowhere in the world. That came from the vast majority of the individuals putting the boots on the ground and working. That's where that came from. You don't raise $55,000 from one or two people. Now, he spoke about $10,000 checks, but let's be realistic. This day and age, that's rare. That's just the reality of it. Between the economy, corporations downsizing, that's rare. I think Birmingham honestly got a little leg up because we have a lot of financial institutions, here and based here. But some of these other cities, they don't have that luxury, so they have to get out and make it work. Gilberto spoke on the network. We had an event, YP Weekend. We had a couple of us had an opportunity to meet with some of the executives for Altria, the company that owned tobacco, Philip Morris, they purchased. And just sitting down, passing business cards. And I would be darned if I didn't get the conference and they walked up to me, hey, come on, Tate. I'm like, I know him from somewhere. And I just, because like LaDon said, you get pulled in so many directions. I'm gonna put you on the spot now. The young lady right here, when she walked in, hey, I'm Kamante, nice to meet you. We met before, we met last time, remember? I did, I'm sorry. But, you
charges his head, not his heart.
This seat, like LaDon mentioned, and not just the president, all of these seats are important. Because it doesn't matter what the president got going on, the vice president, if you don't have your committees and your members actually doing the work, it's nowhere in the world it'll work. No kind of way. So I know we kind of went over a little bit. I would love for everyone to, if you can, whether it's one, whether you can't do it maybe next time, or if I can do 3 out of the 4, sign up for some of the volunteer events. I'm telling you, you'll be glad that you did. I mean, the first service event I did was the community kitchens. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, that touched me to see stuff that I take for granted. I mean, at my house, we'll throw away meals every day. Oh, I don't want to eat one, the leftovers, I go get something else. And I'm not saying that we just, because we're living just like everybody else, but my point is to notice and witness how something as simple as a piece of bread, a piece of hamburger patty, and some string beans out of can, how they were, it just meant so much to them. Hey, could I get some more? Could I get something to go?
Trying to take it and save it for
later.
Other families.
Or just saying, how are you doing today?
Exactly. The just simple stuff, and to see those small kids coming there and saying I'm hungry. And I had an opportunity via Bullock to actually service them. Without Bullock, I would have never known about community kitchen. I'm just gonna be honest. So, be a part. And I'll close with this is a nomination form. It's enough for everybody that want one. Nominate people. You can't nominate yourself. You just have to be a financial member. Membership is at the front. If you're not sure, if I know I paid, has it expired, I want to join, she can let you know. Next to each box, and this is just a nomination form you turn in, of course. So how this will work? Nominations open today. Cliff, if you can come up if you don't mind. He's the nominations chair. So he'll be the one to kind of coordinate all of this. Next month meeting, we will have a session where you can stand up and hey, vote for me. And why? You don't have to wait on that. You can get as creative as you like via social media, word of mouth, however you want to campaign. You do that. And then in October meeting, we actually vote. You do have to be a paid member in good standings to actually vote. Okay. Again, you can nominate yourself. You can nominate someone else. It doesn't matter. And outside of John spoke about the commitment. This is the commitment on the outside. It's not a whole lot. That's for each position. All right, elected position. It's not a lot. The course president, vice president, correspondence secretary, recording secretary, treasurer, and parliamentarian. So take again what you need. Cliff will speak. He will give you his information. You can email him. You can fill him out now, put him in his hand, however you see fit. Just make sure he is the only one that gets your nomination ballot. Do not hand it to me to hand it to him or anybody else, or I'm gonna drop it off at the Urban League. Make sure he gets your nomination form. All right. There any questions on nominations around it? All right.
Very good, thank you. Again, I am Clifford Ken. I will facilitate this process. And if you haven't already gotten your form, please see the membership desk and you can get those forms. My contact information is probably best by email. You can email me, I'll spell it. It's my name, C, the letter C, Kennon, Kennon, @uab.edu. Thank you.
All right. And again, I would like to say thank you to each of you all. Thank you. Thank you. Each and every one of them have personally touched me. Not only just them, Mark Alon, of course, he's touched the world.
I wish, man. I'd be on the island somewhere.
Tony being at the national level, going to conference, that helps big time because she helps you navigate the water because there's a lot going on. And then have someone in our local chapter to be on the national board speak about it. And the great thing I would like to share, I think she ran for a local office when I was around. For a position. And she didn't win, but she didn't stop there. She continued to serve, and then she went on to the national, and she served a 2-year term as the national director of advocacy.
Awesome.
It is. So,
Hey.
it's not, if you run for something and you don't get it,
See a Charger
don't
Ram.
fall off the face of the earth, because I've seen that. Well, I want to run for president. I don't get it, so I'm gone. So that leads me to think, well, what was your purpose to begin with? Did I really want to follow you? Because what was your purpose? If you left that easy because you couldn't be the president, vice president, secretary, whatever, what is your purpose? So again, thank you all for coming out. I know we kept you a little long to get virtual. Make sure you get a voucher for a free drink. Right. On him. And I'll call it
Summer Club membership.
And I'll call this meeting adjourned. There's no questions. It's 7:24 p.m. Thank you.